I have never seen such an explosive deep-sea fishing scene. In order to catch the giant fish in the deep sea, the man not only invited 3 strong men to assist, but also took out his treasured heavy-duty fishing rod and even used a massive bait, a fish weighing more than 10 or 20 caddies. This sea area is extremely rich in resources. In just a few dozen seconds, he hooked a 10-pound fish, and this was only used as bait for today's fishing. After hanging this big bait on the hook, he decisively threw it into the sea. Then he handed the fishing rod to today's first strong man. As the bait slowly sank, the fish school underwater began to stir. One giant fish even followed it all the way up to the surface. Before the strong man could react, it swallowed the bait in one bite and turned to escape into the deep sea. The fishing rod in the strong man's hands instantly bent downward. He grabbed the rod with force, trying to lift the monster straight out. But he underestimated its strength. Even with his teammates rushing to help, the rod still couldn't be lifted. It was even difficult to reel in the line. To prevent the giant from escaping back to the deep, the captain hurriedly stepped in, locked the reel, and took control of the rod himself. He braced the rod against the side of the boat for leverage, stabilized the first wave of attacks from the giant, and then slowly handed the rod back to the main angler. With the captain's guidance, the strong man suddenly understood. He lowered his center of gravity, frantically reeled the line, and soon pulled out a 200-pound grouper from the water. This was truly a super deep-sea giant. Humans appeared so small in its presence. Even the muscular strong man was utterly exhausted. To unlock such a super catch is almost every fisherman's dream. The second challenger of the day was also a muscular strong man. Usually lifting weights in the gym, he claimed catching a fish shouldn't be so hard. He even boasted he would fight the giant head-on. But reality gave him a huge slap in the face. As the captain threw another bait into the sea, another giant grouper appeared at the surface. It swallowed the bait in one bite, and its massive tail fin whipped the surface, creating huge splashes. The rod instantly transmitted a powerful pull. Veins bulged on the strong man's body. He gripped the rod desperately, but the
Nice! That's it!
fish's strength was overwhelming. Even with teammates holding him from behind, he couldn't gain the advantage. His earlier bold words seemed to vanish into thin air. Worse yet, the grouper gave another burst of power and dragged the fishing rod straight into the sea. The scene instantly fell into chaos. Fortunately, every fishing rod of the captain was equipped with a safety rope to prevent losing it to a giant catch. The scene was absolutely on fire.
You got it, bro. You got it.
Grabbing the rod back, the strong man had no time to think. He quickly gripped it again and continued the tug-of-war with the giant fish. After continuous efforts from the group, the giant fish was finally pulled out of the water. Without his teammates' help, it would have been almost impossible. Seeing him panting heavily, utterly disheveled, made it clear he was thoroughly convinced. He felt lifting weights for hours in the gym wasn't nearly this exhausting. The third challenger of the day was no ordinary man. He was world champion Devin. Years ago, he had already challenged a giant grouper. Even with 2 teammates helping, he had been left breathless, and the hilarious face he made went viral online. So this time, could he redeem himself and succeed? As the captain threw the third bait into the sea, everyone held their breath, staring at the surface. As expected, a giant soon swallowed the bait. The rod transmitted immense force, and that classic meme face reappeared. But with his prior experience, Devin was calmer than the others. One hand gripping the rod, the other furiously reeling the line. He thought this time he could easily subdue the giant. But to his surprise, the rod was once again pressed hard against the boat's side, forcing him to use his trump card. Finally, with his teammates' continued help, Devon launched one last burst of power and finally pulled the giant out of the water. Although everyone was left gasping for breath, the joy of the fishing process was something outsiders could never experience. After all, such massive giants aren't something an ordinary person can just catch at will.